Oh, you're funny, Tom. Of course, I would say the same thing, so. Oh, there it is.
All right. There we go.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
You're listening to episode 290 of the PHPUgly podcast. I'm pretty sure the longest running, continuously running PHP podcast. Not that we're going to be driving around in a Lambo anytime soon or anything like that.
It's the Simpsons of podcasts.
We are marching our way to episode 300, and we're glad you joined us. If you don't know who we are, we talk every week about our development life, our friendship, and whatever else we have going on in the world. We try to stay focused on PHP stuff, but you never know where this is going to take you. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
You almost said the PHP Architect podcast, didn't you?
I refuse to answer that question, and Tom, right up.
Hello. I want a Lambo. Why don't I have a Lambo?
How is everybody doing this week?
I'm tired of I am tired of Laravel. Oh man.
Tired of Laravel?
Are you still having trouble with your upgrade?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
No. Yeah, it's been a mess.
What's causing you issues now? It's the framework. Your code isn't supposed to be so tightly coupled to the framework that you have this kind of trouble.
It's the file system stuff. They updated to a new version of Fly System, and
so it's not Laravel, it's Fly System.
Well, Fly System is part of Laravel.
Well,
I have not heard
Fly System
anybody.
Is Fly System. It's just a package that Laravel uses, right?
Anybody having issues.
So stop complaining about Laravel when it's not Laravel's fault this time.
Well, there's other Laravel things, but
okay.
I just
I'm just trying to keep it straight. If it's Fly System, that's completely separate from Laravel.
Well, I'm just trying to keep it not straight, so quit bugging me.
Well, I'm gotten back into some hardcore coding. After years of kind of talking about how I love the concept of event sourcing and paying people to code some event sourcing, I backed myself into a corner where I've got to now put up or shut up and do some event sourcing coding myself.
Well, that's good.
And it sucks. And nobody should use it. Fuck it.
So it's not going well? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's going all right. I have issues, man. I don't know what I want to do.
Is this what you want to pair about tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, that's definitely part of it. I'm using a package. I'm using a spotty package, which I'm not a ugly little truth about me in the Laravel world. I dig spotty. I like the people, but man, their packages just are hard. They're not really great. The ones that I've used, like the smaller ones are fine, but this one's going to be pretty important to the whole architecture of the application. And I don't know, I'm just really worried about it. The only reason I went ahead and used it was because it was recently updated. So I was looking at how much they're keeping this package current. The documentation already seems a little bit out of sync with the package, but I don't know. So we know, John, you do some event sourcing.
Yeah.
Tom, do you?
I haven't really done anything with event sourcing.
Okay. But you understand the concept of it, right?
Sure. Collect everything compiled down to what you're really looking for.
Yeah, and conceptually, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of concepts behind it, but one of the bigger concepts that drew me to it was the fact that you don't know what data you're leaving on the table. Like when you update a record in a database and you're not keeping that history or just stuff in general, you don't know what data you might want in the future to correlate things and make sense out of everything. So I'm a fan of it. We've tried to implement it in the past on some projects. I'm fine coding it. But I do have a question, I guess, for you, John, and maybe for you, Tom, since you conceptually understand how event sourcing works. Is there still a need for soft deletes? Like if you're event sourcing everything in Laravel, you have this option of adding soft deletes to your model where it won't actually remove it from the database. It'll just mark it as deleted.
If you're thinking that way, you're thinking event sourcing wrong.
Well, I'm not even thinking of it from an event sourcing perspective, but so I assume your answer would be no.
Correct. You shouldn't be thinking models. You shouldn't be thinking models at all unless it's read-only models. In which case you would never do a delete. In which case there is no soft delete.
Well, but
you would never do a delete.
Delete would just be one of the events that you track.
Yeah,
correct. But so you wouldn't be hitting a model to do the delete. Your projection would be
right
a delete, which would not persist, or it would get rid of your projection.
Right. So it is a soft delete, but it's just not using the Laravel soft deletes. Yeah, it's not on a model; it's on the projection.
Right.
Okay.
So the record just stops showing up. Now, that is to say, soft deletes in Laravel have multiple purposes, because you can query with trashed or only trashed or things like that. So with that, you can track how many are deleted a day or things like that. But even then, that should be a projection from your event sourcing if that's a metric you want to track.
Right.
So like the Laravel soft delete wouldn't be part of what you're doing.
So you don't think there's a need for them either?
Not the Laravel version, but I mean, what event sourcing is true soft deletes because you're doing it the softest way possible, which is just an event that says this record is now deleted.
Right. I did post so I use Event Sauce as the library, and I did post a message service for Illuminate. So I'm assuming this would work with Laravel just fine. the message repository. Because I think when you and I first started talking about it, I use Doctrine. So there's the library there that makes it super easy to get your aggregate out of the event store and repopulate. So now you can do the same thing with Illuminate. I just had never looked for it before.
Maybe I'll have to pivot and take a look at that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So with Event Source, what handles your event bus? Like, is that something you have to think about, or is that part of that package?
I think it's part of the package. I have to go look at it again. So I don't do a lot with the event bus per se. I send commands to Event Source or to my aggregate, and then just save the events as part of it. There's no event bus per se. Now I can fire events separately to be handled, but the core event that changes the aggregate is just part of the entire aggregate.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll I'm not too deep into it, so I'm definitely at a point where I think I can pivot and switch up to Event Source. I had been looking at Event Source and I was bouncing back and forth, but
I'm not saying you have to. I'm interested in looking at.
I don't care if you said I had to or not. I don't listen to you. I just ask you questions and see how not to do things. But
that sounds like the right way to do it.
I've been
Sounds
real
like a
skittish.
teenager.
I've been very skittish of spotty packages, and again, I'm not trying to talk bad about them. Just they've got so many open source packages out there, and it's very difficult to keep up with all of them. And on top of that, keep the package up to date with Laravel, which is always updating with the.
Oh, when Tom says it, he's crazy.
No one said you were crazy. We just were
No,
curious why
I
it's
say it
so
all
hard
the
to
time.
upgrade.
Yeah, no.
Why
Eric
is it
says
so
it
hard to
all the
upgrade to the
time.
latest version of Laravel?
Because shit keeps getting broken. Dumb shit that doesn't get
But
put
you
in the
complain
upgrade
about Fly
guide.
System, which is not
That's just the latest thing.
Laravel though.
The latest thing you complained about wasn't Laravel either. The Horizon. You remember this conversation? The whole Horizon stupid. It cost me $1 million.
Yeah, that was.
But no, it wasn't that, was it?
Shut up. Have you taken the event sourcing?
How do I get
course?
out of this conversation?
Have you taken the event sourcing course from Spady?
There's a course. I bought the book.
There's
you bought the video course, didn't you?
Yeah, the video course is like 2 hours on how to use the event sourcing package from Spady.
Oh, yeah, I did buy that.
Yeah.
We bought it for a developer that is not with us anymore.
Yeah.
And it was inspired by Event Sauce, so you should see crossover concepts there.
I'll watch it. I thought when I started watching it, I thought it was. I must have misunderstood what the videos were about, because I could have sworn that they were walking through how they built the package.
There's a weird amount of nudity for a training video, but I might have had the wrong video.
Yeah, you might have been on the .us spotty website.
That'll cause problems.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it, man. You know, it's funny because you develop long enough, especially if you just develop on one or two projects, you're gonna get caught up in like these I don't know, these niches of development, and you forget about all the other cool things out there that you like to play with, and event sourcing is definitely one of them. I got another question for you guys, actually. Because of the kind of nature of this application I'm developing, it really needs a state machine, right? So it needs to the object needs to have an understanding of what state it's in and what states it can be promoted to or demoted to, right? It's a typical state machine. And I naturally reached for a state machine when I thought about that. I'm like, well, shit, this is a state machine. Let me just, go ahead and do state machine here. But I started thinking about it. It's like, do I really need a state machine? Like with PHP enums in 8.1, can't I just kind of create some enums and then, create an enum class of states for the object and then kind of make everything else like what it can promote to and what it can be demoted to as a validation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What a state machine? Isn't that all a state machine really is?
That's what I kept telling myself. I think actually implementing a state machine at this point with enums being what they are in PHP 8.1 just seems like it's overkill.
I would agree. But then again, I don't do a lot with state machines to begin with. Everything is really, like you said, it's an enum and there are states that it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just rules on where you can go to and from.
So you do use a state machine. You just don't call it a state machine.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, that's what, when you get to event sourcing, that's what your aggregate is. It's the state machine that says, oh, you want to perform this event or you want me to do this command. Am I in the right state to be able to do that? Can I accept it?
Yeah, and those are, what are those called? Like reflectors? Or no, what? Reflectors are outside things, right? Reactors. Reactors are when you want to do things like send an email or something like that. There's something that handles the actual, maybe it is the aggregate. You said aggregate, right?
Yep, aggregate.
Yeah.
So that's in charge of, it takes the command, finds out if it can perform that command based on the current state, executes it, gets the events from it, and then records the events that have happened.
Yeah, in the Spady package, a reactor reacts to an event occurring. So it does stuff like sending mail or notifications or whatever.
Right. So in the event sauce world, you go through all this event happened, and then you can fire event to your event bus that gets propagated like that, sending emails and stuff like that.
And
which may end up in more events back to your aggregate, but that's a little different.
And there's a way for it not to fire those. So the benefit of the Spady package is that the reactors, you configure it so that they don't fire again if you need to refire the events. So if you need to play back the events. So Event Sauce does that as well, right?
Right. So your aggregate's responsible for that. It records the event, fires the event back to your event bus to do sending email and stuff. When you reconstitute from your events, you're just applying them to the aggregate. You're not replaying them through the entire aggregate.
Interesting. Kevin in our Discord says that he has yet to find a practical use for a state machine. I find that really odd. I honestly think as developers, we don't use state machines enough. Whether you're calling it a state machine, whether you call it how John's doing it or event sourcing, understanding the different states that data can be in and how it gets to that state and how it's allowed to get to that state is just something I don't think we use enough as developers. I think it's really one of our blind spots that we should, work more at thinking that way.
Yeah, I think we all do it. We just, like you said, we don't call it state machines. It's just a matter of coding. We try to prevent bad data from happening. So if something's going to happen, we say, can it? Did we get there? Yes. Now, we often do that, like you said, with an enum. Like, here's the status of this record. Can I do the next thing that should happen? Am I allowed to delete it? Well, it depends on the state it's in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, the enums just seem like such a simple way of doing that now. That coupled with the event sourcing, I can probably pull that whole state machine out.
But still having a specific service object or state machine object, whatever you want to call it, that manages that state. Can I go from shipped to not shipped, or whatever the status of your thing is? Often you can't do one thing before another.
It's still good to have that defined somewhere, right?
Right.
Like, what are this object here? What are the states that it's allowed to be in? Well, here is the enum that tells you what state this object is allowed to be in.
Yep.
All right. So I feel better about that. I spent a good chunk of the day rolling out a state machine that I had previously used. And it's like the more complex it got, and I remember going through this before. It's like once you get everything configured, it's really easy at that point. It's just getting everything initially configured. But I was getting into it. I'm like, God, all I need is to get enum and like you said, validations or this aggregate that tells me whether or not I can do this or can't do this. So I rolled it back out, which is always a pleasant feeling when you've spent a few hours coding something and realizing this was a waste of time. But
it's better than keeping it and regretting it later.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, that should be something we do more often, is try something, get rid of it. Try it a different way, get rid of it. Try it 2-3 different ways before we settle on how we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us get so focused in on, I'm going to do it and just keep everything I'm doing all the way to the end. I'm not trying different ways of doing it.
You're not going to admit you're wrong. You won't have to worry about this code in another year. Just get it out. Let it be somebody else's problem.
It's job security.
It's true. Yeah. We've had that conversation in the past, right? As a matter of fact, John and I were talking about that recently as well. Like that whole paid by the hour or just poor development is job security, because you get these companies who have managers who don't understand development. All they know is their developers have to keep working on the code because the code's always breaking. And it's like, yeah, because they're not using good practices. It's a bad model there.
Or we want to pay you less, and it's just going to take longer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, John?
Yes.
How was your week?
My week has been fantastic. I've been dealing a lot with the Google API and OAuth, because we have some legacy code still using a very old version of the league's OAuth client package, which is not compatible with PHP 8s, which is preventing us from getting to PHP 8, and it's very frustrating. So I'm now in the mindset of, how do I replace that? I've spent a couple of good days so far, and just the way it's all hard coded within the system is difficult to replace everything, which means I'm now getting into the Google API that much more. And
it's also not fun.
Not fun, but I'm right there on the edge. Like, I think I got it working. Nope. I think I got it working. Nope. I think I got it. It's like that up and down. It's like, let me refresh again. Damn. Oh, I got further. Then it stops.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. I did have a fun week on Tuesday. So I talk a lot about Phone Burner and the
we didn't notice
that they are. So I got this week.
Ooh, a challenge coin.
Well, been with them for 10 years at this point. They're the reason I was able to move out here to San Diego, Eric. So you should be happy about them. So that's their old logo back when they were Networks Online. So I got the last one of these things that have their old logo on it.
That's very cool.
It's a nice little commemorative piece. And then, so that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I got to fly Black Mountain again. So I got to do some paragliding, which has been phenomenal. I posted a video about it, or my first video where I flew with a GoPro on my head on our Patreon page. Did I say my Patreon page? Our Patreon page.
Well, Eric's Patreon page.
Yeah, it's. There's one piece of the video that I was inside freaking out a little bit, but I was like, I'm okay. Like, where I came really close to the ground on the hillside, flying too much towards the hill.
Yeah, I'd be freaking out at the part where I was suspended by tiny wires hanging off of a sheet in hundreds of feet in the air.
Nah, that part's no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
It's the swooping around. I'm trying so hard to figure out how to get lift, and so I got a little more adventurous on this flight and just stay closer to the hill, which isn't bad. It was more the fact that I was flying towards the hill and then like coming and swooping, turned out. But I landed within a couple of feet of my spot of where I wanted to land. So very happy about that. Been a good week for the most part.
Well, excellent. Earlier, John, you had said something about a Lamborghini.
I have not said anything about a Lamborghini.
What brought that on?
I haven't said anything about a Lamborghini because I don't have a Lamborghini.
The first thing you said actually is
that was Eric. Thank you.
You were being introduced and said you didn't have a Lamborghini.
You might have said that, John.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a Lamborghini.
Let's talk about
Taylor has a Lamborghini now.
That's what everyone said the last time he did a photo shoot on some fancy car. Maybe it's not his. Maybe it's just
so that's the thing. Shoot. That's the thing is that 2 years ago, on his birthday, he rented, or his wife rented for him, a Lamborghini, and he did a little photo shoot with it, and people were freaking out on Twitter. And he was like, guys, calm down. It's just a rental. It's not a big deal. Relax. But this year, he 100% bought a Lamborghini for his birthday. It's Laravel Orange.
To him. Congrats to him. That's awesome. One day,
I just like that the reaction 2 years ago was like, relax, I'm not getting a Lamborghini. And then this year it was like, yeah, of course I got a Lamborghini. Fuck off, I deserve it.
You got a new car too, Tom. What are you talking about?
I didn't get a Lamborghini.
I
didn't get a new car. And my daughter crashed my van.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Now we know why you're a little bitter, don't we?
I mean, that's one of many reasons. I'm afraid I'm just a bitter person.
No, you? No.
Yeah.
Never would have guessed that.
Oh, man. Well, you know what else is crashing?
What's crashing?
Well, it's dying. It's not crashing so much. We talked about this in the past several times. When Microsoft bought GitHub, I think one of the first questions I had was, what about Atom? Like, why would Microsoft keep Atom around GitHub's code editor if they have VS Code? And everybody's like, oh no, they're both, they kind of play in the same arena, but they both have their own little tweaks and differences. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Oh, they're open source, so they won't go anywhere. No, but you don't understand. Why would GitHub keep supporting this editor when they're owned by Microsoft and Microsoft has VS Code? Well, Atom's gone.
Gone? Like gone? Just removed?
It's going. Yeah, no, it's going. I can pull up the article if you're going to put me on the spot like that. I don't really appreciate that much because I don't know how to use the internet. But yeah, bad news. See, it's been discontinued. So that's all it says. It's been discontinued. So yeah.
Speaking of VS Code, I got the invite to Code Spaces, I think it's called.
To what?
to GitHub code spaces. That's the VS Code editor within GitHub.
Oh,
I need to go do that.
Well,
keep forgetting to set that up.
The Atom dev team could have seen this coming. If only they'd used Honeybadger.
When you're in production, 1,000 things can go wrong. You could deploy a bug in your latest release. Your background jobs can silently fail. Someone could trip over the network cable at your data center. And this all comes back to you. You need to know when bad things happen and be able to respond to them quickly. That's why we built Honeybadger. It's easy to install Honeybadger in your back-end applications and front-end JavaScript. It only takes a few minutes of configuration and you'll have monitoring done. That's because we hook into popular web frameworks, job systems, and the browser, so that when any of them crash, we can automatically let you know. We ping your application from our global fleet of servers to let you know about problems with connectivity, latency, and SSL certificates, and we monitor your recurring jobs to see if any of them stop recurring. When there's a problem, we alert your team using the tools you already use. We can create issues in GitHub, Jira, and other issue trackers, and send notifications via Slack, PagerDuty, or other channels. When you click through, you'll be taken to detailed information on the error. You'll see things like request parameters, headers, user information, and the backtrace. Click on any line of the backtrace to view it in GitHub, Bitbucket, or your local editor. When you fix a problem, just mark it resolved and follow up with the affected user. That's Honeybadger. We're the monitoring tool for web developers who'd rather be, well, developing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honeybadger. Yay, Honeybadger. So we've been doing this development thing for a very long time. And we've talked a lot about serverless in the past. And really there's been variations of what serverless means. But the big player in this arena has always been AWS and their serverless architecture with their Lambdas and all that. And even Taylor ended up writing a service around it called Vapor, right? Is that what Vapor is? Yeah. Vapor is.
Yeah.
Just because it's so stinking complex on how to get everything set up. And that's always been like a running theme with AWS for a while now. It's just the complexity. Like they have a service for everything, but understanding how to get the correct authentications going and getting everything talking to everything correctly has always been like this a little bit of a struggle. So as like a practice for Diego Dev, we have clients who have pretty large footprints on AWS. But for our stuff, we use another service called DigitalOcean, which I wish they'd be a sponsor because I could easily pimp these guys out. We've been using DigitalOcean for a long time. They're like AWS Lite. Like they have a lot of the important sort of services that you would use at AWS without a lot of the complexity. And they keep growing these things. And the big one they had been missing for a long time was a database service. So AWS released RDS, Relational Database Service, which kind of abstracted away running a database server. It was sweet. Really wanted that in DigitalOcean. They did that. AWS for years has had these serverless services around. Well, now DigitalOcean has something like this, and I'm very curious. I haven't played with it yet. It's called App Platform at DigitalOcean. I haven't played with it yet, but it's supposed to be like AWS's Lambdas, where you just worry about writing your code, you deploy your code, you don't worry anything about the servers anymore, and your code just runs. Now,
does it work with PHP out of the box?
It does work with PHP out of the box. There's stuff for PHP for how to write PHP programs for it. And that's one step it had up on Lambdas for sure. The weird thing about Lambdas with AWS is like you could very easily get caught up in the situation like Tom got caught up, not a Lambda situation as a serverless situation so much, but like you find out your application is like using a service way too much. Like it'll just run your bill through the roof. I'm wondering how DigitalOcean stacks up against that as far as, I don't know. Like Lambda services aren't meant to run 24/7. It's not meant to be like a server. So we did some experimenting. We deployed our user group blog out there just to see if we could understand how everything works. And it's not really meant to be like that. It's meant to run like small little applications that you could offload that work to, but they don't always run. Like the common example they use is like a photo processing sort of service where you say, okay, I want to be able to upload a photo and I wanted to crop it and do all the stuff. And you don't, it's process intensive, but it only needs to run for like a minute, be done. And then I'm not going to need to run that again for another 3 or 4 days. So I'm kind of curious what this DigitalOcean app platform, because they made it sound more like a, what's that other one called? Heroku or Platform SH, where you can just write your application and deploy it and don't worry about the servers. Sorry, I keep hitting my mic. So I don't know. I haven't really messed around a lot with it.
That doesn't sound like serverless as much as auto-scaling machines.
Well, it depends on your definition of serverless, right? So Heroku, from their perspective, you're not managing servers, so it's serverless, right? And I mean, that's what a lot of people is like, okay, as long as I don't have to manage the server and it's always there for me and I can customize the server as far as what release of the language I want to run and what's connected to it. I don't know.
Isn't that any sort of like, so would you call EC2 instance serverless?
Well, it depends on what an EC2 instance, no. Because that's a server you have to log into. You have to set up your Nginx or your Apache or your whatever you're going to use it for. You have to manage it. You have to patch it. So that is not serverless because you have a server you're managing. But Heroku, for example, all Heroku is you define your server. Like I want PHP 8.1. I want there to be a database associated to this application. It's not necessarily a server. You define the parameters of the application. Every time you do a deployment, it handles that server for you. You never log into a server.
You almost get a new instance, but with everything pre-configured for you.
Right. Exactly correct. Yeah. And lambdas are even, take it even a step further, right? I mean, like I said, lambdas are not meant to run like a regular website. They're meant to be process intense jobs that you want to offload things to.
The way Eric explains it doesn't sound bad. I like that.
That would be the first time that's ever been the case.
And so the big thing is with AWS Lambdas, it didn't support PHP out the box. I think out the box, all it did was Python. Initially, it was just Python and Java. Then eventually they came up with, they did some JavaScript, like Node, I think was what they came up with. Then we had people in the community create Bref, BREF, to help you run PHP applications on Lambdas. And like I said, then Taylor came up with Vapor, which is actually leverages Bref, or did. I don't know if it still does. I haven't followed that project that closely, but it's always been like a workaround to get it to work in AWS, whereas DigitalOcean out the box supports PHP. At least.
What did you say the service was called on DigitalOcean?
It's just called DigitalOcean App Platform.
Okay. I think once you log in, it's called Functions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's like
DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean Functions is a serverless computing solution that runs on demand.
Yeah, that's their version of Lambda.
So I like this stuff. I haven't played with it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
There's a simple hello world function capability. Time to check it out. I need a hello world app.
See how long it takes you to run that to ring up $1 million.
I'm sure if anyone could do it, you could.
That's what I'm good at. Did you guys watch WWDC?
No.
No?
Did I miss something?
Well, they announced what I had predicted, which was the M2 chipset.
Whoa, that's a very wild prediction. I got one for you. The M3.
We'll cut back to the episode where I had predicted they were going to create the M2 within a couple years, and you had said it'll be at least 10 years.
I think you're way off base with that. I said I'm not getting excited about the M1 because the moment you buy one, 6 months later they're going to release the M2. I can bank on that. I said that because I remember saying that.
Well, a lot of interesting stuff from WWDC. One of the big things is the FIDO alliance. That Apple, Google, and Microsoft are working together to make your phone your password. So this is something that I think all of us are going to have to deal with in the coming years once this becomes the sort of mainstream technology, because all of the new Pixel phones and Android phones and iPhones and stuff are going to have this as their built-in functionality. So yet another new implementation of 2FA that we have to deal with, and all the things that can go wrong with a new password technology.
Yeah, because I've never broken a phone before.
I mean, yeah, they're pretty much known for being made out of solid steel.
Or been at your computer trying to log into something and be like, "Oh, damn it! Now I need to go upstairs and get my phone."
Yeah. Or left your computer in the airport.
With a West Wing we have to walk to get our phone.
Yeah, we don't have spiral staircases to our Lambo garage. But one of the interesting things that Apple's doing is pay later, where like Apple Pay's been a big thing of theirs. They're trying to push it really hard.
Tom's waiting for the just don't pay plan.
Well, I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with this, because if you use the like pay later functionality, it just automatically splits up the payment into 4 monthly transactions.
Yeah, I mean that's actually something you can do on Amazon now. You can use their little service to basically pay later, where just whenever you buy something, it'll break your stuff down. I think PayPal has that too.
Yeah, I think that's an Amazon Prime feature though, and I don't know a lot of irresponsible teenagers who have Amazon Prime, but I know a lot of irresponsible teenagers who have an iPhone.
True, good point.
And I'm just waiting for this to be like the new credit crisis for Gen Z.
I'm sure they're going to have protections built in this at some degree. Like you can only do this X number of purchases until it's paid off.
But what is it? I guess I don't understand what it is.
So you just use your phone to pay for something like you normally would, but you use the pay later feature.
But you never actually use your phone, right?
Yeah, you do.
No. Well, no, you use your credit card attached to your phone.
Thank you, John, because Tom doesn't let me finish a freaking thought.
No, but like you use your phone as an NFC tapping device, and it'll just pop up a dialogue that says, do you want to pay for the whole thing now, or do you want to split it into 4 payments?
Yeah, but you're not using your phone, you're using a credit card. So is this a partnership they have with the credit cards? I say, okay, we're going to charge them every month. That's what I'm asking. It's like you never actually use your phone to pay for it unless you have the Apple credit card.
Well, I believe that when you are signed up for Apple Pay, you get the Apple credit card and it ties to your credit card. And this is how Apple does the like random credit card number generation and all the security stuff that they do for Apple Pay. is that they are actually acting as a debit card company.
Google Pay does that too, right? Like when you use your Google Pay, it's not giving them the credit card information. It's randomly generating your credit card that it gives the NFC.
Right. So I think it's the same thing where they're acting as a sort of a broker, man in the middle type thing. And
so is that what's breaking it into 4 payments?
Yeah. So Apple pays the whole thing off immediately, the whole price immediately, and then charges your card 4 times.
So that's interesting because okay. Yeah. I don't care. I don't do Apple.
It's supposed to be 0 interest. It's just going to be interesting to see how they manage fraud and people declining to pay or something like that. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
From what I'm reading, it encourages bigger purchases. It's
good. That's what
spend more money.
That's
faster.
What we need.
Of course.
But there was an interesting story that didn't get covered at WWDC.
Let me guess, the M2.5.
No. That's not their schema. It's the M2 Ultra and the M2 Mega.
Max, come on, M2 Max. Missed it.
The European Union has decided that all devices should be charged with USB-C. And not that Apple needs to include a converter dongle from USB-C to Thunderbolt, but it has to be a native USB-C integration.
How come they get to decide this stuff?
Well, because they're the EU. But very interestingly, this also applies to laptops.
Yeah.
So all laptops produced for the EU, starting at whenever this starts, I don't know, someone deleted my ticket. There it is.
So nobody did.
Starting,
I just couldn't find it.
Yes, I couldn't find it. So by 2024, it applies to all mobile phones, tablets, and cameras. But by 2027, it's basically everything else. So it's going to be laptops.
That it's funny that they have this rule because by 2027, when we're on USB-D,
exactly,
EU is stuck on USB-C because that's the law. That's gonna be hilarious.
We'll all be laughing at them.
Well, USB-C is actually an interesting protocol because it's the definition of the protocol and the plug shape. And one of the requirements moving forward is any future versions will have the same plug shape and will have to be backwards compatible to older versions of the USB-C protocol.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so USB-C is actually probably going to stick around for a very, very long time because backwards compatibility for power and data is part of the specification.
I mean, honestly, with the exception of going wireless charging, I mean, why wouldn't you stick with the USB-C? It's they finally got that connection correct.
Yeah, only
because we don't know what we don't know. What happens in 10 years when things completely change and they found a way to do things faster, better with a different setup.
Well, then it won't be USB anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying as far as power requirements go, data transfer speeds, USB-C pretty much checks all the boxes.
Today it does.
And as far as convenience of usage, right? It's the first time they made the damn fitting the same all the way around, so it doesn't matter if you can't plug it in upside down anymore.
Except it's fragile. On my old Pixel phone, I couldn't charge with USB-C anymore. I guess inside
Snap. I mean, that's all the USBs.
I agree. I'm saying that
it won't be USB-E.
It was a joke. USB-D was a joke. whatever it is, the next evolution, EU is going to say, no, you have to use USB-C. Other places will be like, okay, we're evolving into whatever the next big thing is. I just don't think it should be a law. That's all I'm saying. I think it's stupid that you're regulating a company to do something.
Well, they're also
not a company, an industry, regulating the whole industry.
Yeah, they're also fighting for right to repair.
Yeah, that I agree with. The rest of the industry is USB-C for the most part, except for Apple, right?
Apple is. Well, I don't think they are on their phone, but all their other devices are USB-C.
No, they're Thunderbolt.
No, the iPad is USB-C.
Charging?
The iPad, yeah.
Their mouse is Lightning.
Well, so here's one of the things is that USB-C originally was 100 watts maximum, but they in May of last year they released the USB-C 2.0 spec, which bumped it up to 240 watts, which is 5
That's
amps.
more watts.
Yeah, that's very good.
New title, more watts.
See, I wish I was faster. You said that's more watts. I wish I would have said watts. Like you said, that's more what?
We got our monthly update from XDebug.
Well, was there anything else with WDCC or WDDC or WCCD, whatever that thing is?
Well,
WWDC.
If you're an app developer, there's a ton of stuff. They've completely redesigned their lock screen interface to handle people who don't clear their notifications, like my wife. So she has like 200 notifications on her lock screen at all times. She has 2,000 unread emails.
Oh, that's nothing. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Not really my beer. My wife's beer, but...
There's a lot of information about their new emojis and stuff like that. One of the big things was the announcement of the new MacBook Air, which is super powerful, super low energy consumption.
This is always my argument. It's always so powerful. It's always so this, and it's not. It's not. The next one comes out, and
I've told you I get like 12 hours.
Oh my God. This is coming from the man who used to say, oh, Apple always hypes up their underpowered stuff like it's something awesome. You remember when you used to be that guy, Tom?
No, I said they overcharge for their underpowered stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You're right.
He has a point. He did say that.
He did say that. That's correct.
Now they're overcharging for their incredibly powerful stuff. It's still overcharging. It's surprisingly powerful. And yeah, I get 12 hours of coding on my laptop unplugged. Like, no problem.
Where do you go with your laptop unplugged?
Nowhere. But there are people who listen.
Your laptop.
I have. There are people who have real lives that listen to this podcast, I assume. Who would like that as a feature.
Took it down to the living room to code, fell asleep, woke up 12 hours later. He's like, hey, it's still charged. I've been coding for like 12 hours.
Yeah, it's also not beer proof. Still. I mean, really,
are we drinking the same thing?
Yes, we are.
Awesome.
One of the interesting things is that, like, I would say 10 of their announcements are Android features from like 5 years ago. Like,
well, that's not unusual.
Yeah, like family sharing of photo albums.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, one of the big announcements is that when you're using voice typing mode, it doesn't hide the keyboard from you. And they spent like 10 minutes on that. And I don't know why. Because it just seems like that was a bug. And I mean, yeah, I've had reviews where I had to make a bug like into a 10-minute presentation. But they were a little too proud that this was no longer an issue. A lot of really interesting stuff. I mean, Mac is all about the ecosystem where you've got the phone, the Mac, and the watch, and you can sort of smoothly transition between things. It's like if you have something on your phone, you can swipe it, like wirelessly swipe it to your computer, which is a super cool feature. But one of their new things is now if you're on a FaceTime call, you can just walk to your computer and switch from your phone to your computer. You know, and it's just like sort of
see that's going to ruin me because like that's always my I gotta go. Look, I'm back at the office. I'll call you right back when I sit down.
obviously talking to somebody who doesn't know you haven't had an office in 3 years.
Oh, I still tell people I'm coming. I'll get back to you when I get to the office. It's better than saying I'll get back to you when I get home and go to the room that I call my office.
Well, yeah, that must be nice too.
Versus get to the desk in my bedroom.
Yes, the desk that takes up a quarter of my bedroom. My wife wants me to get a king-size bed. I'm like, put it where? Where would it go?
I don't have the office space for that, lady.
Yeah.
Get rid of that nightstand that's over there. You don't need that.
Apple is trying to get
sleep in a king-size bed.
I was asking the same question. Yeah.
Is that a fat joke?
No.
I mean, it feels like it is.
It's
now.
a sleeping with another person in the same bed joke.
Oh, right. One of the interesting things is they're looking.
We read past that one.
Apple is looking for FDA approval to track your heart health and give you full medical. Like they want to act as a full EKG and track all of your heart behavior for the whole day and produce reports that tell you your actual heart health as if it were a medical device. And they seem confident they're going to get approval for this, like Apple Watch as a medical device. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's going to have some benefits. They're probably there now. A lot of the
I mean, that's the thing is they have the tech, they just don't have the approval to use it.
Right. They can't be recognized as a medical device.
And if Apple ever got into the diabetes market, boy, they would just lay waste because an Apple Watch.
Wasn't that they were talking about that a couple of years ago about it checking your blood sugar level and stuff like that?
The diabetes market is heavily lobbied by basically two companies that own the whole market and have it locked down pretty tight. So you can't really do a whole lot without their approval.
Discord just crashed on me.
They're also, the Apple Watch is doing like medication tracking. So you take a picture of the bottle of your medicine and it reads the instructions on when to take it and how to take it and sets a schedule up for you to remind you, hey, take this medication, now this medication.
I could use that.
Well, I mean, this is the thing Apple is good at and Microsoft sucks at, which is built-in applications that do something cool and new. Not necessarily brilliantly innovative, right? Scanning a prescription label hasn't been a difficult thing since like 95 when we got OCR built into everything. But they were just like, yeah, this is a thing that constantly annoys people, and now it's just part of the watch environment. Like, why can't Microsoft make any new apps? It's just Windows and Office. Like, that's it.
Because they're only worried about the enterprise, man. That's their bread and butter. They don't care about any of that other stuff.
What even is enterprise, though?
Is there really an enterprise?
Yeah, so it was a mostly boring WWDC. They had a whole section about the Safari browser.
Why are we talking about it?
Thank you, John.
I think it was 3 hours long.
We just spent a half hour talking about something that wasn't.
It was 2 hours.
Exciting.
I mean, we are a PHP podcast, so
Well, but the WWDC is a developers thing. They showed off the new campus. It was extravagant and opulent.
Amazingly enough, still talking about it. I don't know how that's happening.
Did I give you the Xdebug update?
No.
Give us the Xdebug update.
Every month, the Xdebug update comes out from Derek Rathens. And usually it's just, little things I've done lately or the like progress on Xdebug Cloud, but there's an interesting new feature in the latest Xdebug that he is producing, which is the step into return value from function. So if you're in a function, you've always been able to step into or step over. But now he's adding a third option, which is step to the return value of this function.
So is that my question? Is it stopping between the return and the next point? I often find myself getting to the return, and then if I step out, I don't necessarily know what that return value was. So then I'm like, crap, I got to go through it again, assign the return value to a variable, then return that so I can see what it is at that point in time.
Right.
It steps directly back to the call that was made to that function.
So you still don't get the return value.
That's step out of.
No, you get the return value because the call that made that function would be x equals and then a call,
not
an
always.
External. Well, not always.
If I do if function, I don't know what that return value is. That's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, I can obviously tell if it's true or false if that's all it was supposed to be. But if it returns a value, I may not know what that is if I'm not assigning it to a variable. I could always step out, and if I'm assigning it to something, check it.
So to John's point, I think if it took you right up to the return and said, okay, I'm about to return, here's the state of this data, I think that would be very useful.
So let me read the description here. The capture of return values while debugging. This feature allows you to step into the return value from function phase, where PHP returns a value to the caller function. In this step,
good.
In this step, there will only be one variable available, which is the return value of that function.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's between the return and going back to the calling function.
Right.
You're getting into that middle piece. That will be super helpful.
Very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's and there's a little animated GIF that poorly displays how this works, but he is already working with the PHP Storm and VS Code plugin teams to make sure that when this goes out, it will be part of VS Code and PHP Storm. So that's pretty cool. I'm really...
God, that guy is awesome.
Yeah.
Now I know why we pay him every month. And if you don't support him and use Xdebug, you should definitely consider doing so.
After you support us. Come on, John. What are you thinking?
I am shocked at how little support he gets.
I am shocked you haven't brought up our Patreon yet.
Hold on. His monthly goal is $2,500 of Patreon support. And he's currently only got 46% of that, which I find fucking baffling.
Well, so we used to support him on Patreon, but we don't any longer.
He has multiple streams.
Because we moved to GitHub support.
All right.
Well, he's counting both Patreon and GitHub sponsors.
Well, you just said if you look at his Patreon thing.
No, I said he's reporting. You guys twist my words.
Also, the PHP Foundation.
You use your words you say.
Which is twisting his words.
That's exactly what that means.
Words. PHP Foundation also pays him as well. He stepped down from the board of the PHP Foundation so that he could become one of the people who got paid through the PHP Foundation.
Yeah. So a little bit on the sad news, though, is that he did publish a new video this month. Can you guess what it is?
A nude video? What?
A new video.
Why is he getting?
He's doing training. He's creating training videos on his YouTube channel.
What?
His latest training video is debugging with Atom. So,
Adam.
hoping he didn't spend too much time on that video, unfortunately. That's
Way to tie it all together there, Tom. That was impressive.
It's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, really cool new feature. I'm super excited to have that coming up soon.
Going back to Buttery's question, in case that wasn't clear, it sounds like it pauses execution once you return before you get back to the calling function. So it's in that in-between state where Tom was saying that once you get to that point within the step debugger, all you're going to have is a single variable, and that is going to be the return value.
Yeah, and we're used to breakpoints being on a line, not being on a partial line. But I believe that in this case, the jump to return is at the end of the line of the function.
You won't be in a file anymore. It's almost going to be like a virtual.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's going to be a virtual space where you're between two files. You're on your way back up the stack or down the stack, however that works.
I believe you end. Buttery's asking. So I believe you end up at the end of the line of the caller function.
I think it's going to depend on how they implement that within the IDE, right? Because I foresee this being almost like I said, there's a virtual space. It's not on the function you're in, and it's not on the calling function. It's in that in-between state. How they display that is to be determined.
Yeah, and there is a little video on the XDebug blog. If you're in our Discord, you can see it posted there. We post all of our articles that we're referencing on there.
Oh, have we not said how to get to our Discord channel?
Discord.phpugly.com. And if you'd like,
again, what was that?
Discord.phpugly.com. I didn't say PHP Architect, did I? I wouldn't do that.
No, you didn't, but you could. No, not really, but.
And if you want to have a special title, you can join us as a patron on Patreon.
Thank you, Patreons. Patrons.
It's a beautiful little parasitic beetle.
And that is the updated list. So I made sure I got all the names correct there.
lilHermit.
lilHermit is the new Patreon who was supporting us last week, and for some reason his name got lost in the ether. I don't know why, but thank you, lilHermit.
And everybody else on this list.
And everybody else. Oh, and it's in order now, by the way, who's supported us the longest to the most recent. So Buttery, we all know Buttery. The next two are actually a little surprising that they're two of our longest Patreon supporters.
Purely out of obligation because they are employees.
Yeah, because we force all of our employees. That's the way it works.
It's a tax incentive program.
I've seen some YouTubers lately that read off the entire list. And it's like, really? Do you have to do that?
I saw that was a thing a little while ago. I haven't seen anyone do it lately.
We read off new ones, right? I mean, we've been reading off new ones for years.
No, but they take like the last 5 minutes of the video to read off 100 names or whatever it is. It's like,
well, yeah, that's if you're soaking in a hot tub with, like
a Lambo
bikinis on. Yeah.
Lambo.
You have nothing better to talk about.
Orange Lambo.
Yes. Zombie Slayer. There was a PHPUgly conference. We called it Wave PHP back in 2018. It was held here in San Diego. It was a fantastic experience. People loved it, but we did not continue it.
There will be another PHPUgly conference. PHP Tech.
We'll just call it something different.
Hey, but did you guys catch? I mean, Tom, you're gonna love this, and I have to admit, as much as I dislike the guy, Michael Dorinda had a great comeback on this. Did you hear the vanity tags that Taylor's getting on his Lamborghini?
I saw a whole circle jerk around getting vanity tags. I mean, the post on Twitter is a who's who of who can kiss the most ass.
I'm not talking about that. He posted what he's already ordered his vanity tags.
I haven't heard what they are.
Facade. And then Michael Dorinda replied, "Isn't that going to slow it down?" Come on, that's good stuff, man.
Wow. And people who don't understand that it's a reference to Laravel are just going to see a Lamborghini that says facade on it.
I don't think we ever even explained it, right? I didn't want to get into it. It's not a big deal, but yeah. We did talk about it.
Yeah, we did.
Bought a Lamborghini, right?
Yeah,
the creator of Laravel.
As I understand it, his wife bought him a Lamborghini for his birthday. And he has
that's awesome.
I believe she says he has 3 years to come up with an equally good gift for her birthday.
The mansion they just moved into, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, they live in a mansion. It's a McMansion, but still a mansion.
It's a what mansion?
McMansion.
McMansion.
Not heard that term.
What's that?
Kidding me? It's all of La Jolla.
McMansion?
Yeah.
You're going to have to explain it because I don't know what that means. Is that an insult?
Yeah, because it's like
it looks like McDonald's.
No, it's like these cookie cutter style houses, like suburb style houses.
Oh, that's houses.
Thank you, champ.
Nowadays.
But the McMansion is a reference to how the upper middle class basically said, "Well, I want a house that's mansion-like, but I want it to be cheap enough that I can afford it." So they ended up building these gaudy, horrible faux rock facade buildings.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, for the record, I've said this to a couple of people who reached out to me about it. I'm happy for the guy. The guy has employees. As long as he's taking care of his employees, you can't fault the man for making money and spending money.
Yeah.
Sure
made
can.
Something super successful. No, you can't. Stop it.
I will.
Oh my gosh, I make enough money to pay for my house. I mean, we all spend our money in the ways we see fit. I'm happy for him. That's awesome. Wish I could afford him.
Another great post on Twitter was, I keep thinking JavaScript's cool, then this PHP guy buys a Lambo. Oh man.
That was the other big circle jerk comment on his tweet about the Lambo. If you pull the tweet up, every other comment is PHP is dead.
Yeah, it's all that.
Yeah.
All right. I think we are wrapping up.
Yeah, I think so too.
What, am I out of stuff?
I think so.
Not necessarily. It's just
the stuff we care about. Oh, that too. Yeah, it's a good spot to wrap up. All right, that's going to be it. Next week, we're going to start our march to episode 300.
By the way, I'm not here next week.
But
what?
Why do you do this to me?
I'm gonna. I will. I mean,
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You're an asshole, and we all know it now. Episode 290 is in the books. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom. Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the
Everybody
top,
hates me. It's all right. I'm used to it.
Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma
friends.
send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
I never hit enter on this, Eric.
What?
Slack.
What?
I typed that like 45 minutes ago and never hit enter.
I'll tell you the same thing I tell my kids. I don't look at Discord. I don't look at Slack when we're recording.
It doesn't matter. I didn't hit enter anyway.
Kill the feedback.
Please.
Por favor. Yes, let's talk about it. It could be an after the show special.
You know what I forgot? Immediately after running the outro, I forgot that 8.2 Alpha 1 released this week.
We don't know the release managers. No big deal.
Isn't it an Eric, though?
No, it's not an Eric. That's why we don't care.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Hey, I got to tell you, my kid. So last week we were talking about your pickling, Tom.
Yeah.
And what did I suggest to you? Do you remember what I suggested to you? I said you should
trying to enjoy your life and just give up. I think you did recommend that.
I said you should take your pickling of pickles and do them like spicy carrots.
Oh,
my kid didn't even listen to the show. She did that this week, and her and my wife ate them all. I didn't even get one of them. They ate them all. Apparently, they were really good.
Yeah, sounds like it. They must have been if they were going to eat all of them without you.
Go ahead, John.
Recipe. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. So, somebody brought up something interesting in Discord, which made me think of this. Earlier, I'd asked Eric if we wanted to spill the beans on something. Tomorrow, I have a shipment coming in, supposedly on a big truck, which I don't know why. I'm hoping I have enough room for whatever they're going to deliver. But there will be lots of elephants arriving on my doorstep tomorrow.
A fresh herd of elephants.
Fresh herd of elephants coming tomorrow.
They're like NFTs or NFCs.
Except you can actually physically hold it.
Yeah, except for that part. Like it's a real thing that you can own and have. Yeah. So
I don't know what it is. Thursdays only. My cats, when I feed them at night, they go under the table under my desk and decide that that's where they're sleeping tonight.
Were we talking over the music that whole time?
Yeah,
no,
I had the volume down.
Oh, right. And do we share the types of elephants we're getting in? Because we're getting in more than one.
We're not getting a PHPUgly elephant, are we?
No, we are not.
We almost did. We were this close. I'm very honest with you, Tom. We were this close from doing it.
I'd prefer.
Okay, yeah, no, we were never planning on doing it. We hate you.
That's better.
We have Archie, PHP Architect Elephants, and what's the other one's name before I say what type of elephant it is?
Does it have a name?
Is it not the PHP? The PHP women?
No, PHP Limited have I don't know if it's
Disbanded.
officially disbanded, but they've disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's right there.
Is it Larry?
Hang on. No, it's Leona.
Wait. Nobody. Don't tell them what it is. Who knows who the Leona elephant is?
Would it make sense? Like, does it translate straight across?
I don't know where the name comes from.
I don't either.
No,
I don't think it would.
Drupal?
Sevi, we use PHP Architect to make custom elephants.
Yeah. If you need a custom elephant, you got to go to PHP Architect. Why?
And you got
as someone who doesn't work for PHP Architect, I can tell you the real answer.
For the record, this was a 6-month lead time. Is that right, John? It's about 6 months.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
about
surprising.
Yeah, and a lot of money. Like, you can't just get like a dozen of these things. It's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, that flaccid nose needs perfection.
Oh, should I go ahead and make these available for purchase now that we said that?
Sevi, you wait till they show up at your house, please. Don't make them available for purchase and then something goes sideways tomorrow. Please, just when you have them in your hand. Sevi, your son deserves 2 elephants.
Are you sending me one?
After you send us $35, we'll send you one. Okay, listen, you're a friend. You're on the show. $40.
You can include my shirt in the shipment.
I don't want to hear it. I told you, and I told you I would meet you anywhere, anytime.
And I told you I wasn't available that day. Like, I wasn't.
It was for like a week. It was like 3 days. It was 3 days. It was 3 days.
Well, I wasn't available. Where'd John go? John just dropped.
He never said who the second elephant was. And I don't know if I have the right information. I know I do, but...
There he is.
Oh, my God.
Left us hanging, John. Who is the second elephant?
Leona. I said that.
Oh, he's muted
By the way,
now. We can't hear him.
I can hear him.
I know. I was just trying.
Oh.
You gotta cue me.
So don't switch your VPN in the middle of talking to people. It's not a good idea.
And other common sense things in my book of "Don't be stupid."
Yeah. So it's Leona.
Hey, give me a close up of John. I need a snapshot here. Actually, I can do it. John, take your headphones off and give me your best Miami Vice face.
No clue what a Miami Vice face looks like.
Okay, that'll work.
Why don't you do it? You haven't been in one yet.
I was in like half of them.
Oh. What is Miami Vice face?
Wait, is it...
What happened?
Is it Martin Fowler's?
It's the Laravel elephant.
God damn it. It took you that long to figure that out?
He still haven't figured out how to say it. What are you talking about? So what do you want me to do?
Hey, do you have filters, Tom? Can you do a filter on them?
On me?
So
no.
So we're doing a Lambos and Lambda title. Lambos and Lambda. I'm gonna put you in a Miami Vice outfit standing in front of a Lambo. So just like try to look Lambo cool.
I can just sit here like this and I'm good. What are you talking about?
Do that. Just take your headphones off. This guy's a fucking asshole and I hate him.
Can't hear you. On purpose.
That's good. You're good. No. Or keep doing that, dork.
I don't want to put my headphones back on. You can give me all the thumbs up you want. I'm not putting them back on.
It's fine.
It's more fun not listening to you guys. This is the way our audience should listen to the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Is there going to be a tech elephant?
Yeah, Archie.
The PHP Architect Elephant.
So I'm looking through the field guide to elephants here, and it looks like some of the conferences had one-offs made for attendees.
Yeah, a few of them did.
So that's what I'm saying, is Tech going to have a special one-off for the return of Tech?
No.
No.
Do you realize how many of these things you have to buy? You have to buy a lot.
How many
have that many attendees?
Isn't it like a minimum of 250?
Higher.
5?
Add a 0.
Whoa, that's too high. I was reading a thread on Twitter where a guy had third-party permission from the creator to make smaller batches. God, the hack one is so cool.
Come on.
I have that one.
Yeah, I know.
Look.
That's so cool.
It is one of the cooler ones. I also like this guy here. This guy's a conference. Who is this? I forget.
The Mammoth?
North.
Yeah, True North. Yeah.
Sponsored by Peter Meth.
Oh, I met Peter. I interviewed him, I believe.
Kickstarter campaign was run to fund it. Raised
Yorkshire. Yorkshire is my other favorite one.
Raised $35,000.
Because of the hat, yeah.
PHPCon Japan's pretty cool too.
The cake one looks very large.
Canadian.
Of course, we have the round table. The round table you can still buy. There's a few left in round table. You've got to go to open source mental health. Talk to Joe Ferguson in our Discord. See how many's left. I know we're running low, but there's a couple PHP roundtables left if you guys really do want your first elephant.
So there's a PHP Vegas one that is holographic, that there's only one of because the crowdfunding didn't meet its goal. Oh my God, the roundtable one is in honor of Sarah Goldman.
Yeah.
I did not remember that. I remember hearing about that a while ago, but
good to know you listen to the show. Happy, makes me feel good, Tom.
Don't do that.
Hurt my feelings. We are recording this month for PHP Roundtable. For anybody hanging out, we're doing user group meetups. We're having a couple of important, influential user group organizers to sit around the round table and talk about. Some of them have started meetups, some are thinking about it, some are in the process of starting meetups. So we're going to be probably recording that next Thursday. Oh, that's right, John. You'll be out of town, won't you?
Yeah, I planned it that way. I will be in the middle of the woods.
Man, there are so many elephants. If we do a PHPUgly elephant, it has to have X'd out eyes.
I wanted an eye patch. That's one of the reasons why I didn't get it. I refused to budge on wanting an eye patch, and John's like, I'm not ordering an elephant with an eye patch.
Dude, 100%. That's awesome.
Right? Don't you agree?
So awesome. Well, that's my original design for our new logo.
So we're now pirates? What?
I am. I know. Eric's mad now because that does not help my argument at all.
People wear eye patches for other reasons, John.
Because they're ugly? Is that what you're saying?
No,
people that wear eye patches are ugly?
He just got lazy.
Very rude. That is very rude. All right, let me get this editing going. I need to listen to Tom's see if Tom's clipping. By the way, everybody who let me know about the clipping, I do appreciate it. I heard it. I heard a little bit of it, and I was hoping it wasn't bad, but it was bad last week.
Did you hear about the Supreme Court ruling today?
No.
That if you live within 100 miles of the border, then border control can enter your home without a warrant.
What?
Supreme
That
Court
can't be real.
Supreme Court ruling. It's 60% of Americans are now affected by that. So 60% of Americans no longer have, what is it, Fourth Amendment rights?
So if you wait, what?
Yeah, Fourth Amendment rights. We live in wild fucking times.
Well, I don't think I live within 100 miles of a border now.
Oh yeah, you do.
Do I?
Oh yeah. It's
check.
not a border. It's not a border entrance. It's a border.
No, I get what you're saying, but let me see. So
here's the map.
to TJ. Let's just say TJ for now.
I sent it in Discord. Here's the map.
Wait, what? Wait, that doesn't make sense. All that going up the left coast and in the east coast, that's not all 100 miles of a border.
They're counting it as
of the U.S.
Yeah, they're counting it as the border of the U.S.
What? That is some bullshit. You can't be serious.
Nope.
So
let me see.
Did you say they could enter your home?
That's what he just said. Yeah.
And so they can make
because they have
arrests and search vehicles up to 100 miles.
Oh yeah, that's better.
And they
warrantless arrest.
And they can enter your home. They don't need a warrant.
All right, where do we live?
Yeah, so there was an excessive force claim against a Border Patrol officer who had warrantlessly entered a home and assaulted a person. And the Supreme Court said he was within his jurisdiction to do so because it was within 100 miles of the border. So the assault part is also covered by the Supreme Court now. So they can actually come into your house and beat you up, and you have no protections against it.
That's horrible.
And the case in the Supreme Court was about a Border Patrol agent on the Canadian border. This wasn't even about Mexican border patrols. This was a Canadian Border Patrol agent.
Those Canadians, they're evil people, man. I know enough of them.
If you have to say sorry that much, you're saying you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. For people who don't know, Kalen in our Discord lives in Canada. So I guess he's Canadian.
Yeah, so according to the Supreme Court, you cannot sue for excessive force or warrantless search and seizure from the Border Patrol if you're within 100 miles.
Like how all of Florida is considered.
Yeah, the entire state of Florida.
In Maine. Pretty much all of New York.
Hawaii. All of Hawaii. Yeah, what a fucking mess. It was a 6-3 decision.
Hey, you guys are killing me. I'm trying to get the...
All right, I say wrap it up.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.